Again, welcome everybody. I'm glad that you're here with us today. So 20 years ago, nobody had heard of professional business coaches, right? Or professional organizers or personal trainers, but today they are household concepts. Everybody kind of knows what that is. The same we believe will be true for professional photo organizers because these opportunities that people do have grown because people are just really busy and they're looking for help. And growing number of people are also looking for meaningful work that provides them with flexibility and income growth. So this space is really a perfect match. So, and the reason why the need for personal photo managers has grown so dramatically is because our mobile devices, which I'm sure all of you have sitting right next to you, have grown because they are suddenly the camera, point and shoot camera in our hands, right? That's resulted in over 1 billion digital photos taken yearly. It's just, it's an astronomical number of photos. And so while our ability to take photos and videos in an instant has accelerated, the technology to help us decide which are worth keeping has not kept pace. And I'll talk about growing AI and what's coming with AI, because people always ask, well, what about AI? And how that's going to impact us, but actually how it's actually good for us in a way. And when you ask people, though, how they feel about their photo collection, these are the words we hear over and over. I'm overwhelmed, I'm frustrated, helpless. I don't understand how to do it, but everybody else does. I'm embarrassed. I don't want to tell you. It's just amazing. Everybody seems to think that they're the only ones with the problem. They don't realize it's not them who has the problem. It's just the way the technology has just not kept up. And so, in fact, 12 years ago, when I first started this, people would kind of look at me puzzled and skeptical. Today, everybody says, oh my God, I need you, right? But not only do people have too many digital photos, they also have boxes and bins and drawers filled with photo albums. Scrapbooks, that's been a really big growing market, is actually digitizing all those thousands and billions of scrapbooks that people made during the 10 or 15 years when scrapbooking was like a household name and it was $1 billion industry. So people are increasingly looking to have those photo albums digitized so that they can actually share them into the future. And so, and not only is it printed photos, there are analog photos, there are also home movies that people have never seen. And those formats like VCR tapes or camcorders are no longer accessible. And then there's always kids' artwork or articles or letters, anything meaningful from the past. And we talk a lot about photos, and we say the word photos is in our name, but videos, and really it's meaningful memorabilia, meaningful items. A lot of our members don't just work with photos and videos. They help people manage all the meaningful items that they care so much about their life that they want to make sure that somebody cares about them into the next generation. So today I'm going to share with you why the work of what photo organizers do matters, what professional photo organizers actually do, who we are as the photo managers, how joining is like kind of getting a business in a box, and plenty of time for Q&A at the end here. So for those of you who haven't met me yet before, my name is Kathy Nelson. I'm the CEO and founder of the Photo Managers. We are a global educational association that offers classes, an annual conference, professional certification, and a very supportive, engaged community for this growing profession. I'm also the author of 2 books, Photo Organizing Made Easy, Going from Overwhelmed to Overjoyed, and a business roadmap for professional photo organizers, which is all about how to get started doing the business. So that's my formal introduction really about who I am. But really who I really am is, let me tell you a little bit about the why I believe these organizing photos matter so much. I am the person in my family that always took the photos, that wanted to save the family stories. I would make photo albums or calendars as gifts. I'd pore over old photo albums. I was always fascinated by the people who came before me. I remember getting my first camera. I remember working 2 jobs in college to pay for my first digital camera. As I've thought about this over the years, this quote sums up the why people take photos so well. There have been great societies that did not have the wheel, but no societies that did not tell stories. So this is really important. So if you decide to offer these services, people aren't hiring you because you're going to organize your photos. They're going to hire you because your photos tell the stories of, our photos tell the stories of our lives, right? They are a connection to the family, to the friends, to the past. They're a message to the future. But if your photos are completely disorganized and you can't find the photos you care about because they're lost in a sea of digital data or in a box, you can't tell those stories. So people come and hire photo organizers because, well, they know their photos are a mess. They just have way too many of them and they have no access to them. They have thousands on their phone and maybe their phone gets stolen or they drop it in the toilet and they never backed it up. They wonder, do my kids really care about these photos? Will they really want to see them? They have old home movies they haven't seen in decades. An increasingly number of reasons why is people are experiencing floods, fires, tornadoes, hurricanes, hard drive crashes, and they realize that those things that they care most about, once their family and pets are safe, are their photos and their videos, are all those memories from the past that can be quickly wiped out by all these terrible events that just seem to happen, every day. A lot of times people will come to somebody because maybe somebody's been diagnosed recently with dementia or a terminal illness, and you realize time is short. But those are the negative times. Also, those are wedding coming up. I'm in the process of doing this for my son's wedding. I can't wait to make the video montage. I've been getting all the photos from his fiance and her family, and I'm driving them nuts because they don't have access to them. And I keep insisting, just give me the boxes, I'll take care of it. And I can't wait to make that video slideshow to show at the rehearsal dinner of her when she's really little and him when he's little, and the music, and then the meeting, and all the emotion that brings out, right? So those are common times when people really realize they need help, right? So that means that there's hundreds of thousands of people who need help, and they're looking for somebody who can help them. So let's talk about the services that many photo managers offer. But before I go deeply into this, I want to stress two things. You don't need to offer all these services or be an expert in everything. That's impossible. There are a lot of things I'm going to talk about you may know nothing about. The difference is if you're a lifelong learner, you enjoy learning new technology, new things, then you're going to learn it. And then people are going to pay you because you learn it because they don't want to. And it's okay to start a business, even if your own photos aren't organized. We realize this is a big stumbling block for a lot of people, but there's no reason that some people will join and use their own photos as a way to kind of test the process. But most people don't have their photos organized. So if we were looking for somebody who was had everything all in order, we wouldn't have any members because, again, very few people do. So here are some of the services that many members will offer. And you don't have to, again, offer all of these. Some people offer all of these, some just a few. It's really up to you. Organizing printed photos, right? So like I mentioned, many people still have boxes of printed photos, slides, and negatives that need to be organized so they can be scanned for the future. Our best practices, we recommend that you organize before you scan. A lot of those inexpensive companies which tell you to, box up all your stuff and send it to us is really just recreating the same mess digitally that people already have had. And a lot of people are really frustrated. They get back, a hard drive or whatever with a bunch of JPEGs 00111, and they're no better shape than they were before they sent all those photos off. So really, from a best practice, it makes sense to get some kind of organizational structure. Also, there's no reason to scan every photo you've ever taken because everybody remembers, they've ordered double copies of film. So people have, there's no reason to scan every double copy or things that you've had. A lot of people do this in person with the client, but many of them just take the photos back to their home office space. And we have lots of training that I'll talk about in a minute that helps you know, yes, you can absolutely scan another person's photos that you've never even met. It's not a mystery what people take photos of. There's a process that you can really make this happen. And you speed up the process because you're not caught up in the emotions that the family feels. So if I'm opening up my boxes of photos, I'm going to get lost immediately in a lot of nostalgia and memory. But when you're doing somebody else's, you're going to be moving that process along much faster. So that leads me to scanning. This is a kind of a way that a lot of people enter into this business because for a little overhead, you can make some good money. Everybody, like I mentioned, needs photos scanned. And by digitizing printed photos, you're giving them a digital backup. It ensures their family photos will be safe and accessible for future generation. It doesn't require a big investment. And for a little overhead, you can get a great return. And then you can decide, halfway in, you know what, I can't stand scanning. This is just, I hate it. You can outsource that. So we'll talk in a little bit about why you will outsource different pieces of projects that you're not interested in doing. But you want to think of yourself, as I'm going through this, as a project manager, right? So you're managing the project and you can get other people who will do pieces of it that you don't want to do. That brings us to digital photo organizing, right? This is one of the fastest growing services our members provide because just how big this problem has become. One of our members, Jordan Babion, loves to say that the average family now has the same number of digital assets a small business did just a few years ago. They just don't know it yet. In fact, because this is the most photographed generation in history, they're most at risk of losing their photo heritage. Who can possibly sort through millions of screenshots and selfies to find the photos that matter? That's where a photo organizer comes in. The first thing that they do is consolidate everything into one place. We call it the digital photo organizing hub. And that takes time because people have photos in lots of different places. They have them in Dropbox, they have them in Google Photos or Amazon Photos, or maybe they tried different companies that now have gone out of business. Shutterfly, as we know, just shut down their shared albums piece of it. Costco just got rid of their whole thing. So maybe you got your photos developed at Walgreens, you have your photos on Facebook, right? So the first thing that people do is get them into one place, then remove the duplicates, add keywords, create a backup, recommend a cloud service or an online gallery. So suddenly all those photos are easily accessible. It's an amazing, wonderful experience when people complete that for somebody. And then a lot of people, we will say, again, what's the why? That's what I started with. Like, why do we do this, right? It's not because everybody just wants to have their photos organized. From there, they want to see those photos. There are so much fun to, start creating photo books for people, video slideshows, online photo galleries, photo calendars, and other gifts. The possibilities are endless of what people can do once they have those photos. And so a lot of times they'll hire somebody to do that for them. So those are just a few of them, but another big part of them that people do is home movie conversion, genealogy research, video montage for special events. Some people focus on large families or small businesses. One of our members is working with the Junior Women's League in Miami to help them prepare for their 50th anniversary. So lots of companies also have huge amounts of photo collections that they, and now they have to have photos accessible for Instagram or for social media. And they can't afford to hire a full-time staff person, but they can afford to outsource pieces of that to somebody like you who might be interested in doing that. So again, remember those critical takeaways, though I mentioned earlier. You don't need to offer all these services or be an expert. That's impossible. And it's okay to start this business even if your own photos aren't organized. So who are the photo managers, right? And why do I offer these presentations? What is it that we're trying to help inform you about? We have been integral to the success of this growing profession. We actually created it. There was no such thing as professional photo organizers 12 years ago. I was one of the first people. I mean, there were some people that were doing it, but not in a formalized way. And so we serve professional photo organizers through training. That's a big piece of it. Professional certification, partnerships with really interesting companies who really want to have access to you, and educational conferences. We currently have over 700 professionals who share the same passion, a desire to help businesses and people curate their photo collections so they can share their stories. So to become a member of the Photo Managers, you pay an annual membership fee. It's about $50 a month. You can do it quarterly for $170 to $175 a quarter, or you can do it annually for $599 a year. So now I'm going to tell you, why would you want to pay us that kind of money? What are the benefits to that? And how do we make sure that you love us and you keep coming back year after year? So essentially, we say it's like receiving a business in a box, but we really don't send you a box. But since I started this organization over 12 years ago, the goal has always been is to give people the access to the best training and tools so you don't have to reinvent the wheel and figure everything out for yourselves. It's overwhelming to start from zero. And we have a lot of people who have gone ahead of you. And because of that, we can really offer more and more amazing resources to help you be successful a lot quicker than you would be maybe starting completely on your own. In fact, we have two core mission statements that a rising tide lifts all boats, and we are collaborative, not competitive. So everybody needs to have an acronym, right? So we have the 5 C's. These are our acronyms. We provide you with a core foundation, credibility, community, competency, and collaboration. So now I'm going to walk you through a high-level overview of what we mean by these 5 C's. The first one is our core foundation. When you're starting a business, if you've never started a business, there's some information that you need to know about. Like, how do you, what are the business startup costs? How do you know what services to offer? Do you become an LLC? Do you need insurance? How do you know how much to price yourself? What is a workflow that you should have? What is this when I talked about outsourcing? Like, how would you do that? What's the customer journey look like? Like, how are you planning your client's experience from the time they reach out to you turn a project over? How do you find clients? So we have created a course. It's $149 if you bought it without being a member, but as a member, you get full benefits to all of these foundations. So that's a course we really recommend that you start with if you've never had a business. If you've had a business, you can probably skip over this, but this is a great beginning place for people that are just getting started. We also will send you a copy of my book, Photo Organizing Made Easy. You'll get that in the mail within a month or so of being a member. And so that's just a great place to get started. We also have what we call a business resource library, where every month we do 2 training webinars that are included for free for members. And we also have a lot of, we have a pre-made webinar and presentation that you could do at a local library or historical society. So all that can be found on the back end of our website. And you can search by any term. So if you are interested, like I think it's tomorrow or Wednesday, we're doing a training webinar with one of our members. And what kind of insurance do you really need to have in place? And so after that's done, if you wanted to research any training that we've ever done on the types of insurance you would need, you just could search for that and all those titles will come up. And so that's always available to you to watch whenever you need it. We also have a strong series of code of best practices and a code of ethics, and that comes through our, which is part of our credibility. And that also happens in our certification. So our certification, I started this early on when we first became a member, when we first started this organization. Certification doesn't teach you how to be a photo organizer. It's not a class on how to scan photos. It's all about best practices. Like what DPI should you be scanning photos at? What happens if you come across photos with copyright issues or professional photography? Why you need to get permission from the original source before you scan a photo. Information on how do you connect with your clients? How often should you be in touch with your clients? What are best practices in customer service? So you go through that process. It doesn't take long to read through our certification, but then what takes a while is we want you to work with a paying client, not a family or friend, and document the process from start to finish. And that's our way to cue you to make sure that you're following best practices. You document that, upload that to us. We check your references, and you have an interview with me. And at that point, you're considered a certified professional. You get your badge, and now people can find you on our search. Because we really wanted to make sure before we send people to hire professional photo organizers that you are certified, that you've agreed to a code of ethics, and that you've been vetted. This has tremendous value. In fact, I just got I get this all the time, but I just got a call, reached out from a major company who wants to link our website on their website. They are a B2B company in the print world, and they get a lot of requests from companies for help making photo books for different things. And they wanted a link to our website so people can find you. And we know that they need to be finding a certified pro because, they're taking a risk by referring you to their clients. And so it becomes a win-win for everybody as part of that credibility piece of certification. The third C is what we call community, right? Our members, one member summed it up best. So many of us work independently and we don't have coworkers to bounce things off of or help desk to call with questions. The photo managers is all that for me. As Casey said, doing this alone can be difficult. With the photo managers, you're not alone. You have a community of hundreds of other professionals from all walks of life and experience ready to help. Our member-only Facebook group is like having a 24-hour call tech team to help you. It's a safe community where you can ask questions all the time. Another way we build community is that once you join, you'll be introduced to your regional leader. We are small enough that we still have major regions. So I think we have the Four Corners, and we have the New England region, the Mid-Atlantic, Europe, we have the UK and EU, Australia, Asia has its own group. But these are volunteers, but they meet monthly to talk about their business, bring in guest speakers, and really network with one another. So immediately you'll be connected with people who live in your area. We also do something every month called a member huddle. We use a really fun platform called Remo, which is more like you look like you're sitting at tables. And it's like showing up at a network meeting. We have some prompts, like one week we'll say, 1 month it'll be, what would be the advice you'd give yourself if you were just starting out? So you share with each other at your tables, and then, then we set a timer, and then we switch tables and things like that. So it's really fun, but again, it's another way for you to interact with other professionals doing the same thing you are, so that you know that you're not doing this by yourself. We also hold an annual conference. We need to update that photo, Isabel, with our most recent conference. We just completed our conference in Orlando, and we will be in Columbus, Ohio next year. This is an amazing event. Our conferences are just, we have over 20 different educational breakouts. It's a chance for people to come and get to know one another, and it's just so much fun. And so we'll definitely update these slides because we've got much more newer slides and videos and all sorts of things from last year's conference. The fourth C is competency, right? So you want to feel competent. You're going to be nervous that you don't know what you're doing at times. So I want to assure you that that is normal and to be expected. The difference is that you have people behind you to help you figure it out, and that you can't really make a mistake. because we're going to talk, you'll back up your clients, you'll make sure everything's backed up before you touch anything. And really it's okay that you're going to be going through a learning experience. But we also have created a series of courses that we know you need to make sure that you feel competent. So building blocks of digital photo organizing, this is included in your membership, right? We talk about digital imaging basements. What does a digital photo organizing workflow look like? How do you diagnose and treat an unhealthy photo system? How do you implement a plan? What's the software that you can use, and how to communicate with your clients? We have the similar program for your clients' printed photos. We had Sandra Williams, who's in the DC area, Virginia, DC area, create this. And she takes you through her process of how she took a client's photos that look like you can see the before picture to the after picture. And again, it's going to be different than it would be if you were organizing your own family photos, right? So this is these courses you can purchase separately, but it's all included in your membership. We also have something called Business Systems for Success. This is, we actually hired an expert because really you need to have a systems. Eventually, you're not going to, when you're first starting out, you're not going to have any systems. But as you build your business, you're going to want to make sure that you have what we call standard operating procedures or onboarding practices, right? You don't want to have to think every time the phone rings, wonder what to do with a new client, right? Eventually, you're going to document that process. You're going to start collecting people's emails. You're going to want to write newsletters, or you're going to want to send emails out. You're going to want to get referrals and things like that. So all of that requires you having systems. So we hired a systems expert. She did a whole series of classes on that last year, and those are all available for you to watch at your leisure. So again, we're doing everything we can to give you the competency to feel successful. You will not watch all of these courses at once, though I really want to stress the goal here isn't to watch every course we've ever created for you and then start your business. The goal is for you to start your business and then add these courses and these viewing opportunities as you need them. Now, another last C is collaboration. And this is coming. You're coming at a great time if you join the photo managers in the next few months. Every September is known as Save Your Photos Month. It is a month-wide event where we give you an event kit, everything that you need. We've created off of social media graphics. We've created presentations that you can now talk to your local libraries, your historical societies. We give you press releases. You should be talking to any of your local news channels and things, because it's all about managing your photos and saving your photos before a disaster strikes. But in September is a key month for a lot of hurricanes and all sorts of crazy weather situations. This is so well known that the Today Show introduced the month of September as a Save Your Photos Month. Unfortunately, they didn't give us credit because they didn't know that we had created Save Your Photos Month. But so this is something you can jump in right away. It's like a turnkey marketing month for you. It's a great way to just establish yourself as the expert in your community. You can take the presentation and offer it as an online free webinar to your families and friends. Like, hey, I have how do you create a photo legacy? Join me today, for free as I go through this. So we have all of that created for you. Another significant benefit with the collaboration is our partners. There's a QR code there. If you want to go ahead and scan that, you'll be able to see our partner and sponsor guide, read about the companies that partner with us. The guide will not show you the discounts that you get because you get significant discounts, but you'll be able to read about these amazing companies. This list grows all the time because these companies are excited to interact with you because you're going to help them. So it's everything from archival methods, which is amazing different boxes and different things you might need to put your clients' photos back in. You get anywhere from a 35 to 40% discount. So anyway, this is a great benefit to membership, and we have a partner and sponsor guide that you'll be able to access. All right, so I gave you a lot of information. Hopefully, if you have questions, please put them in the chat. I know there's a lot to think about. We would love to have you join us, and because we know people love to have an incentive. This is something new that we've never put this incentive out. This is just for the month of June. It'll go away because we're really excited. We're building our membership. We're excited about Save Your Photos Month. There's a lot of things happening. And so knowing what to charge is really difficult for a lot of people. We did a series of 5 classes, and you will get access to those for free. This is one of our members talked about how she makes sure she gets paid weekly. She's a single mom. She's been doing this a long time, and she finally realized she couldn't deal with the stress of waiting for projects to be completed. So she has an amazing approach that she teaches about how do you get paid weekly. We have a course on how do you price for a project that is like multi-level, like everything from slides and home movies through digital photo organizing. We also have how do you design pricing for photo book design, scanning, and digital photo organizing. These are each 1 hour or so classes that you can access again when you need them. I don't recommend that you join and then start watching all of these classes at once, because you'll get like overwhelmed and you'll defeat the purpose. But we'd love to be able to provide these to you. So when you join, just put June bonus in the notes at checkout. We'll know that you saw this webinar and that you were able to take advantage of this. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen and turn my video back on and see, do people have questions? So I know I just kind of gave you quite a bit of information, and we'd be happy to answer questions. They probably aren't any different from what other questions other people might have. So Isabel, do we have any questions yet?
No questions yet.
That seems hard to believe. And it's small enough group. If you wanted to come off mute, you can come off mute and probably ask a question. Or if I did such a good job.
Hi, Kathy. My name is Melissa.
Okay. Hi, Melissa.
Hi, I had a question. So I've actually followed and learned about the photo managers a handful of months back when I was thinking, I really need something to kind of help supplement my income. And I thought, you know what, I tend to do these sorts of things like organizing photos and, especially documents with my work and paperwork and creating systems and flows. And I thought, this would be a good thing to get into. I wonder if there was something more formal or professional that is available to help me to be able to get started. And I discovered the photo managers. But when I looked into it, I think my concern has been like, I just couldn't see how it could be financially viable because, I think about scanning photos and then all of a sudden, I see all these advertisements about, oh, these companies, you could send in your photos and get them scanned cheap or convert your videos for cheap. And I'm thinking the amount of time that it would take me, I just couldn't like put it together of how that would be financially viable. And I was just wondering if you could speak more to that, or if you could give maybe some examples of pricings.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a great question. And I should include that. Yeah, it's very financially, I feel very confident. I could say this with like total confidence after, like I mentioned, 14 years. We have members earning 6 figures with multiple employees. That doesn't sound like that's what you want, but it is very financially. But first of all, yeah, probably because you must have put scanning in, right? So it all pops up somehow that you get flooded by those ads. The consumer who's hiring you does not want to send their photos off to they don't want to put them in a box and mail them off. They're concerned that their photos will not come back in the way that they wanted and things. So we talk about it like as a white glove service. The idea that you do pickup and delivery, or you'll meet the client somewhere and take and move the photos and do it in your home so their photos are safe. So people are really happy about that. Not everybody wants to, it's not a race to the bottom in terms of pricing. You're not pricing yourself. That's not your competitor at all. Like that's if somebody is sending their photos and they're looking for the cheapest, that's not who you're interested, right? Because we're going to teach you about the value of what you're doing. You're going to dust off the photos before you scan them. You're going to make sure that they are all color corrected. You're going to make sure that they're not scanned in upside down or backwards, right? There's all sorts of things that you're going to do. From a pricing perspective, the average, if you do some research, where are you located? What part of the country are you in?
Hi, I'm located in the New Orleans area.
Okay, so if you did some research, like, companies that scan in New Orleans, not that you're shipping away to. The other thing with those companies too, though, they're like the airlines, right? It's like Spirit Air or whatever, you can pay, oh, I can get a ticket, a round trip for $199. Oh, but I want to bring on a, carry-on, it's another $50. Oh, I want to get a glass of water. Oh, and it adds up. It's the same thing with those low price things. And then if you like go through the process and you say, oh, but I want my photos scanned at 600 DPI, which is what it should be. Oh, well, that's another $50. Oh, I want my photos, it's amazing. There is like it quickly checks up based on what you want. But the average person probably charges anywhere from 45 to 55 cents per scan. And the average family has 3,000 to 4,000 photos that need to be scanned. Same thing with home movie conversion. I'm not suggesting you might not want to do that. You might want to outsource that to somebody else. It doesn't sound like maybe that'd be of interest to you, and we don't think you should be digitizing home movies unless you want to. And then you're going to charge what the average hourly fee is for a service provider in your area. So you're going to research, what does a residential organizer charge? What does a massage therapist charge? What does a bookkeeper charge? What does a, personal trainer, a physical therapist? And you're going to find it's going to range anywhere from a low, probably of $55, $60 an hour to a high of $150, $175 an hour. And you're going to set your price based on what the going rate is where you live. And then from that, most people will buy like 4-hour blocks of time or 6 hours blocks of time as part of the process. So hopefully that, there's a lot to explain about the pricing piece of it, but we also have surveyed our members, and in the first year or two, the average member averaged anywhere from $5,000 to $15,000 a year. One person was at $36,000. I think she must have gotten a big job that didn't seem to fit with the first 1 or 2 years. But most of our members within their third to fifth year are reporting anywhere from $40,000 to $60,000 in gross revenue. And then people that are still taking it very seriously and doing it anywhere 6 years. And plus we had members that, again, were reporting 6 figures. But at that point, they do have either employees or subcontractors, because you're not one person alone isn't going to earn that kind of money, right? You're going to need to have somebody else doing the scanning at a low hourly rate. Well, maybe you're the marketing person. So it depends on how big you want to grow your business. So hopefully that answered that question.
Okay, thanks so much. I really appreciate it. And additionally, I see that you're recording this, and I remember I had signed up for a previous webinar and where it said it was going to be available for a replay, but I never could find the link. And I was wondering if this was going to be available, that I could watch it again.
Yes, we'll make sure that we put this out in an email. And then another place that, I switched away from my slides. We've started, Isabel, can you drop that in there? We've started a YouTube channel, and every month we do what we call career advice from a pro. And we've been putting them all, we've been doing that for 3 years now. And so I interview a different member, and I ask the same 5 questions. Why did you become a photo manager? How do you find your clients? What do you love about your job? What don't you like about your job? And what's the benefit of being a member of the photo managers? And we have a fascinating, so that's really fun. I would highly recommend you go and watch everything from, people who do it as teams, second at careers, full-time people. And so check out that YouTube channel as well, but we'll make sure that we send you this, make sure this recording gets sent to you.
Okay, great. Thanks so much, Kathy.
And especially around the money piece for all of you listening, listening to those, career advice from a pro, they're honest about, what they earn and things like that. So I think you'll realize that it's a legitimate profession and people do well.
Hi, Kathy.
Oh, sorry.
This is Amy Brink. I am just barely getting started on my own photos. Great deal of work to do on that. But I am really interested in considering this as a second half career. You have gone through really a lot of great resources, but I guess I wonder, what would you say would be a really good step 1 for this business?
As a business?
Yes.
Honestly, this worked for me. Like, just say yes and figure it out. I would put it out there to your family and friend, your social network, and say that you are working on your own photos. You've discovered there's a whole business of people who do this. What do you think? Or would any of you need help? And you will likely get a client right off the bat. And then I think you should take that client, and I think you should start your business, to be honest with you, because a lot of us can get so caught up in the overwhelm of like doing everything right that you don't realize that there's people right beside you that need your help. And then we're here to help you with that. So there's nothing that you're not going to get stuck if you say yes. And Isabel just wrote too, the business foundation course is also, that's included with membership. That is worth taking the time to go through to understand, because you are in business for yourself, right? You are starting a business. So there's pieces like collecting money and setting up a checking account. You're not going to put your money in your own family. You're going to get your own checking account, and you're going to start to track your expenses, and you're going to be able to, write off, you're going to have business write-offs and things like that. So you do want to educate yourself about that. But honestly, to me, the best way to get started is just to say yes and get started.
Okay, thank you.
Hopefully it didn't scare you. I promise.
And I got a question.
Um, oh, let me mute that person. Sorry, Karen. I got a question through the chat that someone said they are noticing that as a librarian, there's a lot of people that come with a similar library archival type background. Can you speak on that a little bit?
Yeah, that's true. We are finding a lot of library. We have we did a survey. It's in a different webinar. I did a survey of what people did before they did this. Now, a lot of people still work full time. So I just certified a member who is a chemical engineer, works for Johnson and Johnson, making contact lenses. I couldn't believe it when she told me that's what she does. She's in her, I don't know, maybe she's in her mid-30s or something. And she's always loved doing this on the side. This is her side gig. She wants to develop it, I think, into the future. But so we have Allison Friedman, everybody knows she was a top attorney at a prosecuting attorney at a law firm in Chicago. And she's just so much happier doing this. So, I mean, people come from such crazy backgrounds, but definitely the librarian piece of it, because you already have the skills that you don't realize that the consumer doesn't have, right? You already understand about doing research. You're probably already a lifelong learner. You probably understand how to learn and how to take complex ideas maybe and distill them down to a simpler way. And also there's usually an interest in storytelling, archiving, the value of documents and things like that. So I think it's a natural fit for all of those reasons. And so we do have a growing number of librarian and people from museum backgrounds and things that have joined. But we also have, attorneys and chemical engineers as well. So. All right, Karen, I think it was had come off mute, right? Is it done? She wants to ask. You had a question. I think it was.
Hi.
I can.
Hi, Kathy. I have been involved with photo managers. I have a personal photo manager in my area right now. We have started consolidating all my 30,000 plus photos. I am that person that is the historian of the family, just like what you've said. And my goal, we're still in the process, but my goal is to write my story with photos and to make sort of like a home family movie per se, and invite my friends and family over. So we're in the process of doing that. Do you have any insight or as far as writing a book per se? No, not a photo book.
Like a member family.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, welcome to this. So those of you that all of a sudden I started echoing. Okay, thanks. There's an example. There's a client who hired somebody, and that's not uncommon, right? It's really that it's not about just getting your photos on, right? It's creating that that family archive for people to see. So there's a number of. So I'm sure your photo organizer could ask us for assistance stuff, but Blurb is a really great photo book company that has a great way to add the pictures and the stories, because you probably want it to be fairly text heavy. A lot of the digital photo book companies don't allow for a lot of text, and it sounds like you're more interested in adding the text piece to it. Another really fun way to do it is there's a lot of companies that you can do a gallery, a photo web gallery. So Smug Mug is an example of one too, where all the photos and videos can live and people can go in and make notes and add information there as well. So hopefully that was helpful, some ideas like that.
What was that last one that you suggested?
Smug Mug is one that a lot of people will use. There's others out there. There's a lot of different, the key would be to really make a list of like, what do you really want all the functionality to be? How tech savvy are people? That's always an issue too, to ask your clients. We coach our members on that, right? That different clients have different levels of technology understanding. So there's some products that really work great with a very low tech family. And then there's better, I don't want to say better, but more robust products if the family is comfortable with technology. So you got to make sure you find where people's comfort level is. And then there's really interesting. So a lot of people don't realize the amazing technology. A lot of companies have been out there creating phenomenal technology to solve this problem, but the consumer isn't looking for it. So that's why we have these great relationships with these companies, because they eventually find their way to us because they want us to help their customers. And we have members, like there's a really cool app called Good Ones, GOO. Goodones. It's called Good Ones. It helps you find the good ones on your phone. It's really cool. And they're looking at now what they realize, though, people don't keep it up. Here, I'm just gonna, you can see it, it's called Good Ones. We have a great relationship with them. They're actually looking to put eventually in here, you still need help with your photos, contact a photo manager. So these are values and benefits that we can bring to you as a member of finding clients. I see, Karen, did you have another question?
Yeah, no, that's fine. You've answered a lot of my questions, and I am, like I said, working with a photo manager. So it's going slowly, but it's going. So I'm so happy to be in your community. So happy.
Good,
Thank you
good.
for everything you've done.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Okay. Any more questions? Anybody else? All right then. Well, thank you everybody for your time today. Again, we'd love if you have more questions. You know, let me just go to my screen. I share my screen. Here we go. So thank you for joining us. What are some next steps you can do? You can certainly order our business roadmap for photo organizers from Amazon or from photoorganizingbusiness.com. You can schedule a business exploration call with me. They're about 15 minutes. It's on our website. I talked to 2 people today already, very different backgrounds. I love chatting with people. I think sometimes it really does help to talk to somebody in person and to give you, kind of help answer any more questions. If you do decide to start before the end of the month, add that June bonus. Those that were worried about the pricing, you'll get a lot of information about pricing there. Again, check out our YouTube channel, which have just really gotten going. And so you can watch past recordings and things. And then, like Karen did, if you get really stuck and you want to hire a pro, you can certainly go to the photo managers and hire somebody who will help you with your family photo collection. So again, thanks everybody for your time today. Enjoy this June day, and we'll look forward to maybe meeting you in person at some point or having you join. Bye-bye, everybody.